Your story. My wife did this today, everybody. My wife, come and see what my wife has done today.
You know, making social media your sounding board. No.
Whoa.
Let's go. Whoa.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Life to the Max. Welcome back to Love Month. So all month we are talking about things relationship related, and featuring some couples as well, and just talking about the area of love and relationships. It's February, Valentine's, you know.
All that stuff.
So if this is your first time on our channel, we talk relationship, travel, and living fully in everything that we do, living abundantly. Today, we're specifically talking about the areas of social media management in a relationship.
Guys, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Though.
Social media can, easily turn into a sensitive area for couples. That's completely understandable. You really have to learn how to manage your interactions with respect to your partner and your relationship. And social media, you can cross boundaries very easily.
Very easily.
Comments in the DMs. Very unnecessary conversations that lead to unnecessary arguments and conflict.
Yeah. So what might be inappropriate to us may not be inappropriate to you. But here we're going to talk about our 3 do's and don'ts of social media interactions with full respect to your partner and your relationship.
Yeah.
All right, we're starting with the don'ts.
Come closer.
Yeah.
A little bit. Come closer.
Come, bring your ear. Come. Okay. Don't complain about your spouse to another woman or another man. And don't let another woman or another man complain about your spouse to you. That's number 1 don't. And the reason is because they don't know your spouse as much as you do. You have lived with them. You have built up that relationship with them. For someone to give someone the right to talk about your spouse, you're giving them the right to do other things. And you want to cut that out. Want to avoid that at all costs. Right?
One, it's really disrespectful.
It is.
And secondly, it could easily just break the trust that you've already built with your partner.
Yep.
And it takes 1 second to break trust and
years
many
to
years to build it.
Yep.
So that's one area. Don't complain to other people about your spouse.
And of course, like, things will happen. There's gonna be times where things are rough between you guys, but finding the right sources to go to, the right places to go to, the right person to talk to,
someone that you trust.
Not on IG or on Twitter.
Your story. My wife did this today, everybody. My wife, come and see what my wife has done today.
Making social media your sounding board. No.
It's not necessary.
See, if those people cannot add value to your life, they shouldn't know what's going on. Right? Yeah. So, and even if they can, they don't have the right yet. They don't have the right. So, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Go to a trusted confidant.
Yeah.
A trusted friend. A friend that's gonna, pray for your spouse if something ever went wrong versus, anything else.
And I think it's important that you mention trust, right? Because, trust is really important. Like you said, it's easy to break trust in a minute than rebuild it, right? And you don't want to do anything that makes your spouse question your trust, question the trust that she has for you.
Yeah. That
even questioning in the first place, not talking like breaking it. You don't want that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
because
good.
That's good. Number 2. Don't discuss topics of sex, secrets, struggles with another woman or another man.
The opposite sex.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Like, if there are things that you guys are struggling with, or your wife is struggling with, or your man is struggling with, it's not their business. The other person doesn't need to know. Another person doesn't need to know. And especially on social media, they don't need to know. If there's anything secrets, come on.
That's between you and your spouse.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Your spouse's secrets are no one else's secrets.
Unless she's giving you the permission to go ahead and share that. Sex. Yo, this one. Many people have lost their marriage because of these.
Facts.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
It's not worth it,
It's
y'all.
not. The Bible talks about like enjoying the wife of your youth, and letting a fountain bless you. Oh,
King Solomon.
let a fountain bless you. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Why would you
gosh.
want to risk that? The fountain. Don't risk it. Don't go out there. Don't go out there and spill your spring of life. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't tell your business about sex. Of course, like we know that
there are struggles.
There are struggles. Marriages go through different
Seasons.
seasons, right? And maybe like as a new couple, you might be going through seasons of like sexual struggles and things like that. But there's people you can go to and talk to.
Yeah.
And if you're even gonna talk about it to both of them, right?
Yeah, and like there are ways to go about it, but when it comes to social media, you don't need to be in someone's DMs
Right.
saying, "Man, like my wife doesn't do this."
Yeah.
And I
She ain't not to throw it back.
Right.
Don't do
and
that.
It's someone of the opposite sex. Like, what do you expect them? Are you
To say.
Like, are you looking for that
All right.
in them? Like, it's just really inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing that I wanted to mention is that, like, if you did want to like seek counsel or advice on social media, like, you can ask like survey questions and all that nowadays. Yeah, like put a general question out there, like, guys, relationship related question. How can I learn how to do this? You know what I'm saying? How can I learn how to do that? And see, seek the public's opinion versus privately in the opposite sex, DMs.
But even that.
It takes a lot of
Yeah,
courage.
because it takes
You
a
have
lot
to
of
discuss
courage.
with your spouse first.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly, really, I don't think that questions like that should even be public. I mean, of course, people want to know, but at the same time, everybody has their own opinion based on their experience. And some people are out there teaching what they have not lived. So you want to be careful too, right? But like you said, it's
the main point is make sure that it's not a private conversation with the opposite sex.
Right.
Yeah.
That's important. And don't number 3.
Oh, don't number 3. Come here. We've already said it, but just don't meet in private settings. Anything that you cannot say on the comment box below. Don't slide in somebody else's DMs. Don't slide in the opposite sex DMs.
Yeah.
Having conversations that you cannot openly have in their comment section, that you cannot openly have on your story, for example.
For example, I like that. Like for example, if the things that I've done this before, like Damla has caught me before. I repented. I will not do it again. It was the wrong thing to do, and I think, and this is important for guys. You know that for those who had like a lot of female friends before they got married, right? A lot of female friends before you got married. It's easy it's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna let all that go now. But you have to. Like, this is priority right here.
Create those boundaries.
You have to create those boundaries, right? There's certain things, for example, it's not right to be talking about sex. It's not right to be privately affirming other women in a manner that you can't do when your wife is sitting next to you.
Like if I picked up your phone, I shouldn't be seeing, a bunch of females in your DMs and your hard eyes. Wow, you look, your juggles look really nice, and like I shouldn't pick up your phone and see that. Like it's disrespectful on all levels. Yeah, and like Joseph said, if you are someone who has a lot of friends that are the opposite sex, just to set those boundaries. You should let them know that I respect my relationship without even saying it. If it comes to a point we have to say it directly, hey, in respect of my relationship with my partner, I'm not going to do this. Say it plainly. When
conversations are going towards that spectrum, shut it down immediately. Shut it down.
Yes.
Shut it down. And when you stand for something, people respect that, and it's how you treat your spouse is the way people are going to treat her as well, right? Yeah. So that's important.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Moving on to our do's of social media interactions with respect to your spouse and your relationship. The first one would be, speaking favorably of your spouse or your partner on social media. Like, when you do post them, Men Crush Monday, Women Crush Wednesday, complimenting them, like, these are the things that I love about my spouse, even if it's like they're having a bad day, that's something that you can do to turn their day around.
That's true. That is so true.
But in everything that you post, to make sure that it's favorable to your spouse, that this is an image of you guys together. What you're sharing, it says a lot about who you both are. You're representing your spouse as well as yourself.
That is so good. That is so important, because honestly, when people look at you, they see your spouse. When you look at your spouse, they see you.
Yeah.
So you both are pretty much represented. You're
Mm-hmm.
You're representing each other. And so what image you put out there about her is what people are going to take. Right? So always speak favorably of your spouse. Even the Bible tells us, like, in Proverbs 31, it says the man, he praises his wife, the husband praises her. It says many daughters do many things, but you excel them all. Like, you're supposed to always praise our spouses. Speak favorably of them, like I just said.
Honor your wife, honor your husband.
Yeah.
So the second do of social media interaction is ask if you can invite your spouse into the conversation. Like, if it's a private conversation that you're having with someone of the opposite sex, if it seems like the right thing to do, ask if you can invite your spouse to the conversation. So for example, I did have someone reach out to me on Instagram around a specific area that is so sensitive to us that it's like, okay, well, it seems like it would be better for you to have this conversation with my husband versus with me. It's something that, I led the guy like towards, talking to Joseph about it versus, let's have this conversation on side to side, because spiritually, it's the foundation of our relationship, and just having conversations like that with someone else and trying to grow in that area with someone else, it's of the opposite sex specifically, it's weird to say the least.
And I think it's important that Della mentioned that to me. In fact, when she told me that, I was like, wow, I respect you even the more now, right? Because conversations like that with the opposite sex, especially when it comes to, it's your role as the man to fulfill those things. If another man brings that to you, you should direct that person to your husband or shut it down immediately, right? And so,
not necessarily shut it down, but
if
pray
it's
about
negative.
it. Yeah, well, it wasn't negative, but just react with wisdom, like respond with wisdom. Yeah.
And so, her bringing that to me I was like, yes, okay, now I can tackle this myself, and it was a good way to resolve it. It was a good way to go about it. It was wise, and so I respected that. I respected her more for that, and I think that's how it should be done. Like, when you find that conversations that involves you and your spouse, and involves integral parts of your marriage, integral parts of your relationship, things that could make or break your marriage, try to invite your spouse into it. And I like what you mentioned as well. For example, if a female comes to me and says, Joseph, how do you go about this? How do you do this and that? And if it's something that I know my wife can handle, I would rather direct her to my wife than continue that conversation. I think that's the wise thing to do, right?
Yeah, it takes wisdom.
Yeah.
So reply to everything like with wisdom, especially when it's like Joseph said earlier, it's a core value of your relationship.
Yeah.
It's something that's the foundation of your relationship, because you don't want that foundation to be shaken. You want it to remain solid. So respond with wisdom always.
Yeah. That's
not everything is innocent or as innocent as it seems, especially on social media. Like the fine line between I respect you versus like, oh yeah, I know you got a spouse, but I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. It's so thin.
It's like, I trust you, babe, but I don't trust those people.
But I don't trust those people, right? It's not that we have trust issues, but just the reality and like human nature.
It's
and what you hear every day, you know what I'm saying? Like, marriage is really important to us. Our relationship is really important to us. So we don't want to cross that fine line. We don't want to misinterpret what is innocent versus like not innocent.
Right. And it's important, like, what you cherish, you have to guard it. Like, no one's gonna guard your marriage for you. No one's gonna guard your.
That's your job.
It's your job. It's not that, oh, this person's supposed to act this way. This person's supposed to respond this way. No, it's you. You control what you can control, right? You guard what you can guard, right? Yes. It's your marriage.
Guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Else.
Because it determines the course of your life.
Yes.
Speak. But that is due number 2.
Yeah.
Now,
Come closer.
come
You are
close.
far away. Come closer. Come.
Number 3. If you ever have a conversation that is disturbing with any other person outside of your spouse, in terms of like the opposite sex, tell your spouse about it, or find a friend in Christ. Keyword. A friend in Christ who can keep you accountable, right? And this is why the friends you choose are important. The friends you have are important. You don't want a friend who's going to break your marriage. You want a friend who can say, okay, calm down. Let's think about this. Let's reason about this. And then let's see how to go about it. Rather than, no.
I wouldn't take that if I was me.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
Break it off immediately. You don't want people like that who straight up say, get out of marriage or give up your marriage. You don't want that. And so the point is, find someone who's accountable.
Oh, yes, like it's just really important to have that accountability partner that is like also has the same values as you when it comes to the area of marriage.
Yep.
So they're not going to lead you astray. They're not going to guide you along the wrong path. They're not going to advise you the wrong way.
Yep.
You know, marriage is not something that should. I'm because of this tiny thing of social media. Social media is so tiny. Matter of fact, like it didn't exist like 20 years ago.
Right.
Like there was no social media to worry about, right? But it's so tiny in the grand scheme of what marriage is. Find that person that you can trust, that also values God, whether it's your spiritual life, values the same thing that you value, and can advise you and give you the right counsel.
For example, we have mutual friends that at any time we can go to and be like, wow,
yo, man, Joseph did this.
Yo.
I don't know how I feel about it, but this is what happened, man.
Right? And it's important to have those. Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Few people.
Yeah.
That understand your values, again, as Damala said,
Yeah.
and can advise you on the right path, right? And ultimately, with all of this said, we believe, that the Bible is the truth, right? And so everything that we do, our actions stem from that. So know what the truth is for yourself.
Yeah.
Know what the truth is for yourself.
Yeah.
How would you want your marriage to be portrayed? Are you representing Christ as you're supposed to?
But yeah, so like we said, what might be inappropriate to us might not be inappropriate to you. But have that conversation with your partner, with your spouse.
Yep.
Let them know, like, hey, I agree on this. I don't agree on this when it comes to social media. They don't assume that they know.
Don't assume.
Because I think a lot of some of the conflict that we had was, man, I assumed that Joseph didn't think that was right. And I'm not doing that,
you know this person. You don't think
I
do that. Come on. But
don't assume. It's better safe to not assume.
Yep.
So, yes. Social media, use it with wisdom.
Use it with wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, and when you think about it, social media is not even the problem. It's the people using it.
Yeah.
Right? So you gotta guard your heart. Take steps to control what you can control. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be you taking care of whatever happened in your marriage. It's
the
your
result
marriage,
of,
the result, the consequences.
Yeah.
It's your marriage. You're gonna have to deal with it, not the other person.
Not the other person.
You.
Just go serious.
You. I know, because I know. I've been there. But we thank God for forgiveness. And we thank God for repentance. We thank God for changed heart. We thank God for good spouse. We thank God for all that stuff. Trust.
Yeah. And one more thing. Even if the person is just your friend, don't tell your spouse, that's just my friend. You know him not. Don't do that. Like,
don't do that.
It's all right. Just respect your spouse. Like, think about, if my spouse picked up my phone right now, would they be okay? Would they be happy with how I've related to or interacted with people on social media? Would they be okay with the comments that I put? Would they be okay with the private messages?
Babe, my phone is not locked. You can check my messages.
Even if it's locked, I need a password.
Exactly. So, right. Things like that.
Yeah.
It just builds trust. It builds transparency.
Yes.
And those are important in building marriage. Like those are foundational things.
Yeah.
Right. When everything else let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
But I hope you found these tips helpful. What are some things that have helped you in terms of social media interaction? Like, let us know. You know, it's an area that we'll all continue to just learn in and show grace to each other.
Yep.
It's okay to make mistakes, but don't repeat the mistakes.
I agree.
That's how you learn, right?
And finally, I just want to say that, yes, we talked about, opposite sex, it's really marriage, but this also applies to relationships that have become exclusive. So when you're going to the part of you're engaged now, or even when you're already in a serious relationship, this also applies as well. So
yeah, this applies to everyone.
Applies to everyone.
If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below, like, share this message with a friend,
and don't forget to live your life to the max.